Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in for our Bhagavad Gita study. We are on chapter number 9. We'll continue. Let's start with prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagriyatam Sahana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Dushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamam Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taralye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. So we are on chapter 9. We discussed how this chapter 9 is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Why is it the most confidential knowledge? Because it is talking about how we can attain the destination of bliss, which will never be interrupted or which will never be extinguished. Right? Susukam kartum avyayam. Even when we are performing the process, it is still susukam kartum avyayam. It is joyfully performed. And when we attain the sadhya, then also it is joyfully performed because there is no change in the activity. As we are performing that process also, it is susukam. It is giving a lot of bliss because it is pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is giving a lot of bliss. And at the same time, when we attain the sadhya, then also it is giving us a lot of bliss. Why? Because in that state also we are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whether we are in the sadhaka stage or whether we have attained perfection, all does not matter. What stage we are in, how much progress we have made, all that does not matter. As long as our consciousness is to serve Krishna, is to serve Guru and Gauranga, according to the best of whatever we have right now, if you are able to do that, that is the perfection of human form of life. So that's what we said, we were reading yesterday, right? How the wind also blows to give satisfaction to the Lord, right? Because the wind god is also being given this particular seva to blow the wind. The Vayudev is also serving the Lord. All of the demigods are serving the Lord, just like the purchase department head, the sales department head, the finance department head. They all serve the CEO or the managing director who has employed them. Similarly, and that too in the material world, we do things so that we can get some money or we can get some return from our employer. That's why even when it is exercised towards the demigods, that is why it is said, even there they expect a return. So that is why that is also not devotional service. Of course, we all render service. in return for money, in return for for some kind of an obligation, somebody has helped us before, so we want to return that gratitude, so we want to serve them. There's so many reasons could be there why we are serving certain people. So the devotional service can be rendered only to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We may worship the Saraswati Mata so that we may get good marks in the exam, or we may worship Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati to get a nice husband, to get a nice wife, etc., etc. So they are all for sense gratification, right? Kamastaste hritagnyana prapadyate anya devata. Anybody who worships anya devata, all the other devatas, they are always have lust in their heart, right? Only those who want to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they only can experience love. Everybody else, they want to exploit either other living entities or other objects of the material nature to simply enjoy. And as long as we have this propensity to enjoy, to exploit material nature, to try to cheat others, or whatever may be, as long as the intention is sense gratification, then we will never be happy in this world. Whether in this world or the other world, we will never go. Right? We'll be bound in this material world and we'll never be happy in this material world also, as long as we're attached to sense gratification. So in the previous verse, 9.6, we just saw how even the everything is moving by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? The wind is moving, the earth is rotating, the sun is rising or the sun is setting. Everything is for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to fulfill the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was a moral of what we read yesterday. Yeah. So let's continue from 9.7. Okay, let me share my screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, Sridhar Prabhu, I see your hand up. Please go ahead. 9.7. Sorry, I'm on mute. sorry. So I was, I could not hear Sridhar Prabhu. Everyone else could hear him? No. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Please go ahead. Okay, let me share my screen again. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Dandavats
Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Sarvabhutani kaundeya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadav visarjamyagam. Hare Krishna. Synonymous. Sarvabhutani, all created entities. Kaundeya, O son of Kundi, prakritim, nature, yanti, enter, mamikam, my kalpakshaye, at the end of millennium, punaga, again, Tani, all those, Kalpa Adu, in the beginning of millennium, Visirjami, create, Aham, I, translation by Prabhupada, Namaskara. O son of Kundi, at the end of millennium, all material manifestation enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again, purport by Prabhupada. The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestation are completely dependent on the Supreme will be personality of Godhead. At the end of millennium means at the death of Brahma, Brahma lives for 100 years and his one day is calculated at 43 millennium at the 4300 millennium of our earthly years. His night is of the same duration. His month consists of 30 such days and nights, and his year of 12 months. After 100 such years, when Brahma dies, the devastation and annihilation take place. This means that the energy manifested by the Supreme Lord is again would be in himself. Then again, when there is a need to manifest the cosmetic world, it is done by his will. Bahushyam, although I am one, I shall become many. This is the Vedic abortion. Chandogya Upanishad 6.2.3. He expands himself in the material energy and the whole cosmic manifestation again take place. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Right? Punar Visujami Punaha Punaha. Right? There's another verse. Punaha Punaha means again and again this material manifestation, which is the 1/4 of the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again and again it is getting created, and again it is getting annihilated. But that 3/4 portion of the creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the spiritual world, that is not subject to creation and that is not subject to annihilation also, right? And why does the Lord do it? Because jivas have a lot of desires, right? That they have built over the years, and then when they're not able to finish, when they're not able to execute their desires because they don't have the karmic credit for it, right? And but they still want to fulfill their desires, and then each jiva has a certain lifespan, and they die at the end of their lifespan. Similarly, Brahma also has a lifespan. At the end of Brahma's lifespan, which is like 411 million, 30 trillion, 411 trillion, 30 million years or something like that. Very, very huge lifespan. When his lifespan ends, that time everybody, all the jivas, they enter into Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And then whenever the Lord wants, the living entities become manifest and continue their journey of trying to lord over material nature or trying to fulfill their desires. Right? So if the desires are attuned with the desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then they will evolve themselves to become closer and closer to Krishna until they perfect their life, and then they go to the spiritual world. But as long as they are trying to simply engage in sense gratification, have independent desires as that of the Lord, then what happens? Every time the universe gets created, they also come out from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and continue their journey, right? The Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, right? Feeling heat and pain, heat and cold, pain and pleasure, happiness and misery, like this. They, we revolve around the three modes of material nature. Whenever there is annihilation and whenever there is creation, again we come out, again then we get annihilated, right? So, we will be rotating around these three modes of material nature until we realize, by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, until we attain that Mahamantra or the Hare Krishna Mahamantra by the grace of Guru and Gauranga. Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyaman Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. By the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, if you're able to get that Bhakti Lata Bija, then there is a chance for us to attain perfection. Until then, we will be revolving around this material world from birth, death, disease, and old age. And then we will be thinking that, oh, I'm enjoying myself, right? So because if you want to enjoy ourselves, Krishna will give us Mata Smritir Jnanam and Apohanam accordingly. Krishna will give us forgetfulness of Krishna, so that we want to continuously engage in this illusory activities. And if you want to serve Krishna, then Krishna will give us intelligence, and Krishna will make us forgetful of Maya. So according to whatever our desire is, Krishna will help us advance like that. Okay, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, go ahead, text number 8. Okay, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, can you unmute yourself? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, Monimala Mataji, are you able to unmute yourself?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead. 9.8.
Prakitim sham avastabho brise jami puna bhuto gramam imam kitsamam abosham prakite bashat. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Please read the synonyms,
Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Prakriti, material nature, swam, of my personal self. Avastabha, enter in. Visarjami, create. Punha, again. Bhuta, gramam, all these cosmic manifestation. Imam, this. Krishnam, total. Avashyam, automatically. Prakte, by the force of nature. Bashat, under obligation. The whole cosmic order is under me. By my will, it is manifested again and again, and by my will, it is annihilated at the end. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This matter is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times at the creation. The material energy is let loose at Mahatattva, into which the Lord, as his first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the casual ocean and breathes out innumerable universes, and into each universe the Lord again enters as Garbhodaya Vishnu. Each universe is in that way created. He still further manifests himself as Krishnodaya Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, as they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings are begun from the very moment of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. Men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entities had at the last annihilation are again manifested. It is clearly stated here that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again, and all this is done simply by his will. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of God, and after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of the various living entities, and so the Lord does not become involved with it. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Dandavat Pranam. So we know that the Lord has given us a free will. According to the free will that's given by the Lord, we can desire to do whatever we want, right? And if we have the karmic account, that means in our past lifetimes, or in this particular life itself, if we have done some pious activities, then our desire may get fulfilled, right? So nothing is completely within our control. However, a little bit of free will is there, a little bit of independence is there, and how we utilize that free will or independence will determine our future destination. That's what we've been reading, right? That's what we've been discussing for a long time now. But here, what is happening is, the Darwin theory is being squashed by Prabhupada here in the purport. Right? It is not that first I become a plant, then I evolve and become an animal, then I become this, then I become that, then I become monkey, then I become ape, and then I become man. Right? Prabhupada, when somebody told this to Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, your ancestors may be monkeys, but my ancestors are not monkeys, right? We have like Bharadwaja Gotram, Gautama Gotram, like that, right? So we don't, Prabhupada told that, I don't believe that we've come from monkeys. Maybe you have come from a monkey. That's why you are propounding this theory, right? And here in the purport also, Prabhupada is saying that all of the species get created automatically. Jalaja Navalakshani Stavara Lakshya Kramayo Rudra Sankhya Pakshinam Dasha Lakshanam. What is that then? Chatur, what is that? 400,000 of human species. Trimshal Lakshani Pashavha, Chatur Lakshani Manushaha. Right? Trimshal Lakshani Pashavha, 30 lakhs of Pashavaha. That means 4-legged animals. Chatur Lakshani Manushaha, 4 lakh of human species. So all of these come into existence at the time of creation. Okay, Rajneesh Prabhu, you are chanting. You can, if you want to, if you have your round spending, you can chant. If you want, you can disconnect and chant Prabhu. Or you chant after the class, So that's what we do generally. So what was I saying? Chatur Lakshani Manushaha. That means 4 lakh species of human. So all of them get automatically created at the time of creation. It is not that first only plant varieties get created. Then animal variety will come later. No, that's not how it works, right? First, when the plant varieties get created, animal varieties get created, human varieties get created. Then according to our desire in our previous, whenever we either at the time of annihilation, if we were alive, then we would have automatically gone to Garbhut Krishna Vishnu. At that time, what was our desire? Or if you died before also, yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyanta kalevaram. Whatever desire we had at the time, accordingly we will get the body of a human being, or get the body of a pig, or get the body of a bird, or a hog, or a beast, or an animal, or a plant, depending on what is the consciousness that we have developed. Right? According to that, we will get our next body. And all the species are there. There is a lot of choice, right? According to our consciousness, we don't have a choice which body we will take, right? But according to our past karmas, according to our past desires, then we will automatically get a body. And then what will happen when we get into that body? We will think that enjoying stool is the purpose of life. When we get a pig body, that is what we will be conditioned to think, right? Similarly, if we get a body of a dog, then we will think that simply barking and protecting my master and running around with the master, and that is only the goal of my life. I'm enjoying myself, right? As soon as we are put into a particular body, we think that this is the place where I am and I can enjoy myself in this place. That illusion automatically happens because we become controlled by the three modes of material nature, right? So and that's why in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, even if you are born in a Brahminical family, right, we are conditioned by the modes of knowledge and satisfaction, right? We think that, oh, I'm enjoying a lot, I'm able to study all the verses, I know so much, right? I'm so knowledgeable, and then I'm so happily situated, right? Brahmanas, they have a simple life. They study the shastras, they just go and teach shastras, and whatever comes, they live happily. But is that the goal of life? No, I don't want to continuously be born in a Brahminical family. I still have to undergo this birth, death, disease, and old age, isn't it? Rather, even if I want as a Shudra, but simply take this, the seed of bhakti, and practice bhakti and transcend the platform of Brahmana. Become a Vaishnava, become a devotee of the Lord, and go back home, back to Godhead. That is what it is. I don't want to become a Brahmana, I don't want to become a Kshatriya, I don't want to become a Vaishya or a Shudra, whatever state I am in. If I'm born in a Brahminical family, very good for me. It is a very good springboard, but I don't want to stay there. I want to jump to the transcendental platform. If I'm born as a Shudra, no problem, right? There is no Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyashi, Shudra Kene Naya. Hey, Guru Tattva, say Krishna Tattva Haya, say Guru Haya. If anyone who knows the Tattva of Krishna, not only helps himself, but he is able to deliver the whole world. He can become a guru. That is what is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So whether we are a Shudra or a Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Kenenaya. Whether I am a Brahmana, whether I am a Kshatriya, whether I am a Vaishya, whether I am a Shudra. In Kali Yuga, most of us are Shudras only. But yet we have a lot of hope. Even though we are Shudras, simply by practicing devotional service, not only can we deliver ourselves, we can become a spiritual master. We can teach others according to our realizations, and we can deliver the whole world. So that's what is given in this particular verse. That if I want, I can get into the body of a pig. If I want, I can go back home, back to Godhead. It is in my hands, right? Endeavor is in my hands. Of course, when I perform the endeavor, I work. But once I do the endeavor, then I completely depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Surrender to the Lord is also more important, right? It is not by our endeavor that we will get any result. That means anybody who works hard for an exam will get the same marks, isn't it? But sometimes we find I've not worked hard in the exam, but somehow I've got very high marks. Somebody else who worked the whole year, they've not got very good marks, right? So it depends on a lot of other factors. It's not dependent only on our endeavor, right? We say fluke, right? I didn't study one chapter. No question came from that chapter. Why? It's not fluke. It is the blessing of the Lord. Maybe we've done some pious credits in the past and we're exhausting those pious credits. That's what it is. All right. Let's go ahead. Text number 9. Okay, Vrishabhanu Kanya Mataji, are you able to unmute yourself now? Okay, I think she's got a problem now. Sudha Mataji, what about you?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः
No, that's
भूतग्राममिमं
over.
कृत्स्नम्
Haribol, text
अवशं
number 9.
प्रकृते
Mataji, text
ओके
9.
सॉरी माताजी न च न ओके माताजी सॉरी न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु synonyms na never cha also ma me tani all those karmani activities nibadnanti bind dhananjaya o conqueror of riches udasinavat as neutral asinam situated asaktam without attraction teshu for those karmasu activities. Translation and purport by Jivendra Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Purport. One should not think in this connection that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. In his spiritual world, he is always engaged in the Brahma Samhita 5.6. It is stated, Atma Ramasya Tasyati Prakrutya Na Samagamaha. He is always involved in his eternal, blissful spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with these material activities. Material activities are being carried on by his different potencies. The Lord is always neutral in the material activities of the created world. This neutrality is mentioned here with the word Udasinavat. Although he has control over every minute detail of material activities, he is sitting as if neutral. The example can be given of a high court judge sitting on his bench. By his order, so many things are happening. Someone is being hanged, someone is being put into jail, someone is awarded a huge amount of wealth, but still he is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, the Lord is always neutral, although he has his hand in every sphere of activity. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34, it is stated, Vaishamya nai grinye na. He is not situated in the dualities of this material world. He is transcendental to these dualities, nor is he attached to the creation and annihilation of this material world. The living entities take the different forms in the various species of life according to their past states, and the Lord doesn't interfere with them. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, why do we experience happiness and distress? Because of our attachment to these objects, right? So, I was just remembering, one example that, for example, if you are in a restaurant, right? I'm not saying you should go to a restaurant and have food. Okay, this is just for an example I'm giving you, right? Let's say we've gone to a restaurant and we are having a nice, dinner, like for example. Okay, and then what happens? The burglars come. Right, there is a big LED TV in that restaurant, and everybody is watching the nice cricket match which is going on. Big LED TV, and everybody's having nice dinner. And then what happens? There is a burglar. The thief comes and he steals the LED TV and he goes away. Right. So I am having my dinner there and he's bothered. So it's okay. TV is not there. So baat karke gaate hain. Right? Am I worried? Why that somebody stole such a nice LED TV? Right? I don't run. I don't complain to the police. We leave it to the owner. Let him do. No, it is his property. What I will do, I have to pay for the bill for this. Let me have the food with peaceful mind. Let me have the food. Okay, when we go home, right? When we go home and we are relaxing, like say the same scenario at home, we are simply having nice khichdi prasadam. It's not very opulent food, right? But we are simply having khichdi prasadam, and what happens? Our very very old TV, Onida TV. We have only a black and white Onida TV, right? There is a thief who comes and steals that Onida TV, right? Will we be as let him take it. What is my problem, right? Even if it is an old Onida black and white TV, we get so perturbed. We will call the neighbors. We will call the police. Somebody has stolen my TV, right? We will lodge a complaint. We'll run to the police station, isn't it? Why? That was such a fantastic TV. That is worth so much. But why are we not? Because we do not feel the pain because we are not attached to that LED TV of the restaurant. Whereas our old useless TV, which does not even switch on, half the time it does not even switch on, even then we are attached to that old Onida TV. Why? Because we attach that object as our object of sense gratification. That is mine. So whenever we have this concept of aham mameti, this is mine, this belongs to me, and then when somebody takes that something away, even though it may be of zero value, right? Just because I attach a value to it, that it is mine, I'm feeling sad, right? That is why the Lord is able to be neutral, right? The Lord is the creator of everything, the annihilator of everything. The Lord is yet not attached, right? Similar that we can also see that even in the Rasa Leela dance, right? When Krishna is dancing with all the gopis, right? Sometimes when a gopi thinks that, oh, Krishna is dancing only with me, and that gopi develops a little bit of man, what happens? Krishna immediately disappears from there, right? So that is the position even in the spiritual world, right? Where somebody is thinking Krishna is mine, even in that sense, Krishna does not like it if you are attached to anything. But then how much will Krishna like us being attached to this bottle, water bottle, speaker, laptop, mobile, this tablet box and mobile. Okay, how much Krishna will be liking it that we are getting attached to these things, right? The more the other day we were talking about it also, right? If I purchased a new mobile, right, or if I purchased a Mercedes-Benz car, to the extent it has given me pleasure, it has a potency to give me pain. If there is a small scratch on the mobile, it is a scratch on my heart, right? So why are we feeling these situations of happiness and distress? Because I identify myself with the mobile. This mobile is my jaan, isn't it? If something goes wrong with this mobile, then my life is lost. Why? Because I'm attached to the mobile. If something happens to our neighbor's mobile, will we be so worried? Oh my God, what happened to his mobile? Right? We are least bothered. So to the extent we are attached to any particular sense object, to that extent we will experience pain. Because in this world, there is nothing that is permanently going to be ours. Either the object will be taken away from us or we will be taken away from the object. When we die, the object is still there. It may be lying in our home, but it is still not ours because I myself am not alive to enjoy that object. Or the object may be taken away by somebody else, or the object may become repair, or whatever may happen. So to the extent I am attached to anything in this material world, I am inviting trouble and misery for myself. If I'm attached to Krishna, then if I'm attached to devotional service, then only I can expect to in the future be relieved from suffering. Right? So we can never be neutral, right? Because we always have some desires or the other always cropping up in our mind. So what does Prabhupada say? Prabhupada uses a beautiful word, dovetail our desires. If I like to, like yesterday also we were discussing the same thing, right? If I like to sing for the pleasure of the Lord. Why? Because I'm able to, even my vocal cords are working because of Krishna's grace only, right? What if this morning I suddenly wake up and I cannot speak? Right? There's no, and sometimes it happens, right? That sometimes voice does not come. And then after some time you drink hot water, you do this, that and all, and then somehow the voice comes, right? So whatever we're able to do, we are not the doers, right? So what is it that I can claim my own? I cannot even lift my hand without the mercy of the Lord. Even not even a blade of grass can move. So what is it that I claim my own, and why am I attached to all these things, right? Even knowing that if I'm attached to something, that has a potential to give me pain, right? So the Lord is neutral because the Lord is Atmaram. He is self-satisfied, right? When the Lord actually he engages in the Rasa Leela or he engages in stealing butter, it is not that the Lord wants butter. The Lord he's not eaten for days. He wants to eat butter. No. The Lord is engaging in stealing butter because the Lord wants to give pleasure to the gopis who want their butter to be stolen by Krishna. The Lord engages in Rasa Leela because the gopis want to engage in this pastime with Krishna. The Lord became the charioteer for Arjuna because Arjuna wanted the Lord to become the charioteer. It's not that the Lord was bored playing the flute. Okay, now let me do something different. Let me become the charioteer of Arjuna. No, the Lord is happy and the Lord does not need anybody else to become happy. That is why the Lord is neutral, right? But we are dependent on the Lord. So we can never be neutral. Our detachment to the material things will be inversely proportional to our attachment to Krishna. The more we're attached to Krishna, the more we're attached to devotional service, the more we dovetail our desires in the service of the Lord, the less we will have the desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. the less we will have the desire for sense gratification. So that is why the Acharyas explain that we need not give up anything. We only need to dovetail everything in the service of the Lord. Whenever attachment to Krishna increases, automatically other things will fade away. Right? So that is why chanting Hare Krishna is most important. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with sincerity, determination, enthusiasm, we will get service opportunities. When we do service opportunity, when we do service in every opportunity that we get, we please Vaishnavas, we please our gurus. By their mercy, all the unnecessary kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya that is there in our hearts, which will make us attached to the material objects, to the people in this world, all that will be cut by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. And that is where we want to be attached to Krishna, and in this way detached to the objects of this material world. That's the purport of this particular verse. Okay, let's move ahead. 9.10. Rajneesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandat.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. Yes.
Myaadyakshen prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanen kaunteya jagdvip jag jag
Jagat Viparivartate.
jagdviparivartate Maya, why me? Adhyakshena, why superintendence? Prakrit, material nature, to it manifest both Karakram, the moving and non-moving, Hetutna, for the reason, Anina, this, Kaunteya, or son of Kunti, Jagat, the cosmic manifestation, Vipurivated is work operation. This material
Okay, this is the
nature
verse we had today for this verse, for this week. Maya Adhyakshena. Maya means I am the controller of Prakriti. Adhyakshena means controller. I am the controller of Prakriti. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. Suyate sa characharam. So under my direction, this entire material world is moving and non-moving. Hetunanena kaunteya. So what is the reason for that? The reason is it is acting under my superintendence, under my supervision. Jagat Vipari Vartate. The cosmic manifestation is working under my direction, moving and non-moving, right? Okay, Prabhu, read the translation, Prabhu.
Yes, this material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this is manifestation and annihilated again and again. Purport. It is clearly stated that
It is clearly stated here that Prabhu, you're able to see the screen?
स्क्रीन तो आ रही है जी, बीच में कुछ और आ रहा है.
It is clearly stated here. ये मैंने येलो में हाईलाइट किया है प्रभु, आपको दिख रहा है? It is clearly stated here that is everyone having a problem? Okay, let me stop share.
There is some.
Acha. Oh, okay. Let me mute myself. There's some work going on.
Okay.
Prabhu, please read, Prabhu. It is clearly stated here.
Yes. It is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Will and the background of this material manifestation, but the management is being conducted by material nature. Krishna also states in Bhagavad Gita that of all the living entities in the different forms and species, I am the father. The father gives seeds to the womb of mother for the child, and similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his clear glance, injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature. and they come out in their different forms and faces according to their last desire and activity. All these living entities, although born under the glance of Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to the material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated and everything is created immediately. Because he glances because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with manifestation of the material world directly. This simple is given in Samriti. When there is fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person, yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one. There is a similar connection between material world and the personality of God. Actually, he has nothing to do with material world, but he creates by his glance and audience. In summary, material nature without the superintendence of Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything, yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all these material activities.
So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita. Aham Bija. I am the seed giving father of all the living entities. Right? At the same time, Krishna says, Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. I am equal to all the living entities. In the previous verse also he said, I am neutral to all the living entities. Yet he also says, I am especially inclined to my devotees, because that is the nature of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocating according to the Yeta Mam Prapadyante Tam Tateva Bhajamyaham. The Lord reciprocates with his devotees according to the level of surrender of the devotees, or according to the level of surrender of the Jivatma. The Lord reciprocates, right? But the Lord has instituted the law of karma, right? There is this law of karma which works independently. The Lord does not interfere. But if the Lord wants, he can interfere, right? Sometimes we find that, Kripa Siddha, suddenly somebody gets, somebody advances so much in devotional service. That means it's a kripa of kripa of Guru, kripa of Gauranga. If the Lord wants to, he may interfere. But the Lord chooses not to interfere with the karmic cycle of the individual. So the Lord creates simply by his glance. The Lord gives an opportunity for the living entity to either perfect his life and go back home, back to Godhead, or give the free will to the living entity to go around the three modes of material nature, simply trying to enjoy one's senses. So we always have that free will. The Lord never forces us, right? So if anything is forced, then it is the genuine love is not there. So the Lord does not want to force us to love him, right? So the Lord is giving us the free will. If you want, you may engage in my service. Otherwise, you can go to this material world and try to enjoy. But enjoying propensity is not of the living entity. One can never enjoy independently. And that's how we are being created. As long as we don't dovetail our propensity to enjoy with that of the Supreme Lord, we will always be in misery. Right? It's not that, yesterday also we discussed, it's not that we should not be happy. It's not that the Lord says you have to always be in misery. No. Why we are in misery is because we are not seeking happiness from the right source. Right? If we seek happiness from the right source, then we will get happiness. Right? This world is dukhalem and ashashvatam, and dukhalem means we'll get only dukkha. Right? In pustakalem we'll get pustak. Right? In dukhalem we will get dukkha. If you are going and looking for a cricket bat in a library, will we get? No. We will be disappointed, we'll be frustrated, right? Because we're going to the wrong place and looking for the wrong thing. So similarly, in the dukhalayam, which is the material world, we are looking for sukha, and that is why we are frustrated. And Krishna is giving us the formula how we can be happy. Right? Krishna says, if you engage in my service, I give you the intelligence by which you can come back to me. Teshamevanu kampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvataha. I will light the lamp of transcendental knowledge in your heart. I will tell you how you can be happy even in this material world. Padma patra ivambasa. You can be like the lotus flower which is on the kichad, but yet it is not affected by the dirty water around it. Why? Because it is standing on top of it. Similarly, we all have the free will to transcend the three modes of material nature, even though we are situated in this material world. And that can be done only by the mercy of Guru and Gaura. So that's exactly what the Lord is doing. The Lord is doing because the Lord is independent of the three modes of material nature. The Lord is independent of the creation. Very beautiful analogy Prabhupada gives here. The smell and the flower, right? When a beautiful flower is there, the aroma automatically comes. I don't have to go and touch the flower or pluck the flower and keep it to my nose, right? Because the fragrance is automatically there if I'm just around there. Similarly, the Lord is creating everything, but the Lord does not personally engage himself in anything. The Lord has created the karmic rule and everything works according to the law of karma. The Lord does not interfere with the activities of the material nature. And this material nature is the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Maya Tikshena Prakriti Suyate Characharam. The previous verse we said. That means Prakriti is also acting according to the instructions, according to the directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like the energetic is the person who possesses the energy. And for what that energy is to be used is determined by the energetic. So similarly, material nature is the inferior energy of the Lord. The jivas, we are the marginal energies of the Lord. The Srimati Radharani and the pure devotees of the Lord, they are all Antaranga Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Nitya Siddhas, right? Those who never fall down. They are all eternally serving the internal pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this way, we are all energies of the Lord, but we all have our free will. Those who are situated in the Nitya Siddhas, they never utilize their free will for separate enjoyment. They always want to serve the Lord. And material nature is headed by Durga Devi, who's also the inferior energy of the Lord. She also is eternally serving the Lord because she is an empowered representative of the Lord to serve the Lord, to take care of the jivas of this material world and take care of Prakriti and take care of the jivas of this material world. Give them tests. Those who pass, hand them over to Yoga Maya. Those who fail, continuously put them into more and more tests until they pass. Right? Just like we don't pass the first standard, we have to give the first standard exam 10 times. Right? I know somebody who's doing CA, writing the exams 10 or 12 times, final exam, clear nahi ho raha hai. Right? So again and again, we have to, until we pass the exam, even in the material world, it's like that. So until we pass the exam, we keep on giving the CA final exam. So similarly, until we pass that test of complete service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is unmotivated, uninterrupted, we will continue to be given that test. But when we pass out, then we will be handed over to Yoga Maya. But only the Jivatmas, yeah, we only have the free will. Sometimes we dwindle towards the internal energy of the Lord. Sometimes we dwindle towards the external energy of the Lord. When we dwindle towards the external energy of the Lord, then we fail Maya's tests. We want to enjoy, we engage in sense gratification, and we fail. And then when we move towards the serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we pass Maya's tests because we are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is all in our hands, and yet nothing is there in our hands, right? We have the desire, which is fully under our control. When we desire to serve the Lord will give us. The body is also given by the Lord only. The Lord has given us the hands, the legs, the eyes, the ears, the nose, and we have the free will whether to utilize it to exploit material nature or to use it in devotional service. And according to that, we will be either be given situated in a better platform or we will be situated in a worse platform. Right? Let's move ahead. Very beautiful verse. Oh, okay. This was also a very nice verse. Okay, fine. Who will read? Rajneesh Prabhu already read. Let's ask Karpagolli Mataji. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Sorry for that sound. I'm just muting myself. Yeah, go ahead.
Avajanti Mamuda Manusim Tanam Asritam Param Pavam Ajananto Mama Buddha Mageshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme domain over all that be. Purport by Prabhupada Kije. Purport from the other explanations of the previous verses in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. The Personality of Godhead who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation cannot be a human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the original Supreme Personality as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the Supreme Lord. There are many Ishwaras, controllers, and one appears greater than another. In the ordinary management of affairs in the material world, we find some official or director, and above him there is a secretary, and above him a minister, and above him a president. Each of them is a controller, but one is controlled by another. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Krishna is the supreme controller, and there are many controllers undoubtedly, both in the material and spiritual world. But Krishna is the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna, and his body is Satchidananda, non-material. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in previous verses. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Although he is not a common man, the foolish deride him and consider him to be a man. His body is called Manusim because he is acting just like a man, a friend of Arjuna's, a politician involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways, he is acting just like an ordinary man, but actually his body is Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal bliss and knowledge absolute. This is confirmed in Vedic language also. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the eternal blissful form of knowledge. There are other descriptions in the Vedic language also. Tam Ekam Govindam. You are Govinda, the pleasure of the senses and the cows. Satchidananda Vigraham, and your form is transcendental, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. Despite the transcendental qualities of the Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are many
Hare Krishna.
so-called scholars.
Hare
Hare
Bol,
Krishna.
Mataji, we will just discuss this part. It's a long purport. So what we will do,
Yes, Mataji.
let's discuss until now what we have seen.
Okay.
Yeah. So here in this particular verse, there is a distinction between the Lord as well as the living entities, or even the controllers are given. Right? What is that? We are also Ishwaras, right? In the morning when I get up, I decide what dress I want to wear. I decide what I want to cook. I decide what time I want to get up, right? All of that I decide, right? I'm also a controller, right? But then I'm controlled, right? I want to get up at 5 o'clock, but my alarm does not ring. I get up at 6 o'clock. So I am a controller, but there's something else that is controlling me. It is not that if I want to get up, I will definitely get up, right? It's not within my control. There are so many factors that is affecting my control. Like for example, I want to make bindi sabji today. Then I check that there's no bindi today. I go to the market and see there's no bindi. I have to settle for buying one or something like that, isn't it? So I want to do something, but then it is not completely within my control. So that is the position of Jivatmas. That is the position of Indra, Chandra, Varuna. Right? Indra wanted to destroy the entire Vrindavan. He wanted to bring about the Samvartaka clouds. He was completely empowered by the Lord that he could bring about the Samvartaka clouds and destroy Vrindavan. But still, he was controlled by the Lord. When the Lord decided that Vrindavan is not to be destroyed, Indra's desire could not be fulfilled. So Indra is the greatest controller. He could make the Samvartaka clouds. He could make a Vrindavan 7 days and nights. There could be continuous shower of rain in Vrindavan. The whole Vrindavan could have got destroyed. But why did his will not get executed? Because he is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who desired something else. Right? So we may be very much empowered to do certain things. But when our desire is against that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then our desire will not work out. Why? Because I am under the control of the Supreme Lord. But the Supreme Lord is the only person under whose authority everything works. If he decides something, right? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Right? If in the Vedic scriptures it is given that, okay, you can offer non-vegetarian food to me, then that is the rule, right? Like the lawmaker, whoever has the authority, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he did not tell that offer me non-vegetarian food. What did he say? Offer me patram pushpam phalam toyam, and offer me with love and devotion. Only then I will accept it. So whatever he says, we have to do that only. If we do something else, then he is not affected by that we are offering some wrong thing. But we are getting affected because we are not dovetailing ourselves with the will of our controller. Like for example, there is a purchase manager. he has an authority to purchase up to 1 lakh, right? The head of the department, right? Head of the purchase department, he has up to 10 lakhs. So up to 10 lakh, he will have authority. But the managing director, he will have authority up to 50 lakhs, right? So each one has certain controlling power, and he can exercise control only up to that. And even within that amount, like for example, the managing director comes and tells the purchase manager, you cannot approve this order, although it is 50,000 only. The purchase manager cannot say, bye, I have an authority, you have only given me the authority, but that is superseded by a higher level controller. We may be given, we have the authority, but it is still under the control of the person who's given us the authority. So the demigods have been given the authority by the Supreme Lord, and that authority can be withdrawn at any time. We cannot consider ourselves entitled. When we have this entitlement mentality that I have got this and I should continue to have this, then we try to become artificial controllers, right? We can exercise our control to the extent of power that is given to us, and that is perfectly okay. But when that power is taken away from us, how do we respond? That shows whether we are surrendered to the Lord or not surrendered to the Lord. It is not that, oh, I don't want any power, right? I don't want any power because it will corrupt me. No, that's not the way it works, right? Even for normal execution of daily things, we need to have control over certain things, right? So we need to exercise our control, but when that control is taken away, then we should not be attached so much that I cannot do anything. Whatever is available, we should use that in the service of the Lord. In that way, we understand that we are minute controllers who is always under the subjugation or the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. Even in the material world, it works like that, right? Yeah. So let's go ahead. Who will read? Who is reading?
Continue, Mataji.
No, Mataji, we have 2 more devotees. We'll ask them to read. Yeah. So Leela Nandini Mataji, go ahead. Yeah. We'll come back to you, Mataji.
Back to you. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Despite, no?
Yes.
Despite the transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna's body, it is full bliss and knowledge. There are many so-called scholars and commentators of Bhagavad Gita who deride Krishna as an ordinary man. The scholar may be born an extraordinary man due to his previous good work, but this conception of Sri Krishna is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, he is called Muda. For only foolish persons consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being. The foolish consider Krishna an ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of the Supreme Lord and his different energies. They do not know that Krishna's body is a symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, that he is the proprietor of everything, and b, that he can award liberation to anyone. Because they do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications that deride him. Nor do they know that the appearance of the Supreme Personality of God in the material world is a manifestation of his internal energy. He is the master of the material energy, as has been explained in several places. Mamaya Dirattaya. He claims that the material energy, although very powerful, is under his control, and whoever surrenders unto him can get out of the control of this material energy. If a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, appearing just like an ordinary man, can be the control of all the atoms of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The biggest and the minutest are beyond their conception. So they cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although he is controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all this manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning his yogam Aishwaryam, his inconceivable transcendental energy, that he can control the infinite and the finite simultaneously, and that he can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears just like a human being, can control the infinite and the finite, those who are pure devotees accept this, for they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender into him and engage in Krishna consciousness devotional service of the Lord. There are many controversies between the impersonals and the personals about the Lord's appearance as a human being. But if we consult Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the authoritative test for understanding the signs of Krishna, then we can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary man, although he appeared on this earth as an ordinary human. In the Srimad Bhagavata first canto, first chapter, when the sages headed by Shaunaka inquired about the activities of Krishna, they said, Kitvan kila karmani saharamena keshava adimartyani bhagavan gudakavad Kavada Manisha. Lord Sri Krishna, this personality of God, a supreme personality of God, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so he performed many superhuman acts. Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 20. The Lord's appearance as a man bewilders the foolish. No human being could perform the wonderful acts that Krishna performed while he was present on this earth. When Krishna appeared before his father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared with 4 hands, but after the prayers of the parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter number 3, verse 46, Bhavava Prakrita Shishu. He became just like an ordinary child, an ordinary human being. Now, here again, it is indicated that the Lord's appearance as an ordinary human being is one of the features of his transcendental body. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, it is stated that Arjuna prayed to see Krishna's form of 4 hands. Teneva Rupena Chaturbhujena. After revealing this form, Krishna, when petitioned by Arjuna, again assumed his original human-like form, Manusham Rupam. These different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being. Some of those who deride Krishna and who are infected with the Mayavadi philosophy quote the following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, Verse 21, to improve that Krishna is an ordinary man. Aham sarveshu bhudeshu bhudatma astada sada. The Supreme is present in every living entity. We should better take note of this particular verse from the Vaishnava Acharyas like a Jiva Goswami and Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura instead of following the interpretation of unauthorized persons who deride Krishna. Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, says that Krishna, in his plenary expansion as Paramatma, is situated in the moving and the non-moving entities as the super soul. So, any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archamurti, the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living entities, is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are 3 kinds of devotees of the Lord, and the neophyte is in the lowest state. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura warns that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, everybody is the embodiment or the temple of the Supreme Lord. So, as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and everybody in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. They say that since God is everywhere, why should one restrict himself to temple worship? But if God is everywhere, is he not in the temple or in the deity? Although the personals and impersonals will fight with one another perpetually, a perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality, he is all-pervading, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Goloka Vrindavana and is always staying there, by his different manifestations of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all the parts of the material and spiritual creation. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very, very nice words. Avajananti Mamuda. Avajananti, don't know me. Why? Because they are fools. Avajananti Mamuda, Manushim Tanumashritam. When I incarnate in the human form. Right? So we've discussed in the last session also how Krishna did not meditate and then got the power to kill Putana, isn't it? Krishna, when he was few days old, he actually not only killed Putana, but he actually delivered and gave her the position of a mother in the spiritual world. Right? So the nobody can become God by meditation or by Ashtanga Yoga or by any other practices. Lord is Lord in all circumstances, and who is Lord is also given in the scriptures. right? The incarnations of the Lord are given in the Vedic scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam, right? They all describe where he will be born, what he will be called, right? And how he will end his Leela, like Lord Ram entered into the Sharayu river, like Lord Krishna, he allowed himself to be, pierced by the arrow of a hunter, Jara, right? So in this way, everything is given in the scriptures, right? And those who want to get bewildered will automatically get bewildered. And those who understand the supreme position of the Lord will never be befooled by all this. So those who want to get fooled, they will be mudhas. Avajananti mamudha, Anashim Tanamashritam, right? When we understand these various scriptures talking about the glories of the Lord, Brahma himself telling Ishvara, Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, all of this, then those people who want to still remain under illusion, then we cannot do anything about them, right? They will continue to be fools, and after many, many lifetimes, Bahunam Janmanamanti Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamidhi Sa Mahatmasu Durlabha Sabka Bhakta Aega, right? All of us are eternally parts and parcels of the Lord. But now, when we are telling somebody and that person is not able to understand, then he needs some more time. So we don't want to continuously preach to that person and also create some kind of aparad, that we also hear about the blasphemy of the Lord, right? Such people, we should give them time and space. When the right time comes, then we should, and we can always, like Prabhupada says, always we can give them Krishna Prasadam, right? Nobody refuses Krishna Prasadam. Nice, tasty Krishna Prasadam, everybody wants to have, right? They may not hear philosophy, but that's what Prabhupada also did. Went to the Western world, he made nice Krishna Prasadam, he gave ISKCON bullets. So in this way, everybody was attracted, and then slowly, as the consciousness also gets pured by having Krishna Prasadam, then one becomes more open to hearing this tattva. Until such time, we need to stay away from people who are envious and be compassionate to people who are innocent. And in this way, we try to give Krishna consciousness to those. Simply by asking them to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more we chant with sincerity, with determination, with devotion, with enthusiasm, with patience, the more we will be able to understand more and more the glories of the Lord. And we can never understand the glories of the Lord to the fullest, right? Because as we are talking, the glories of the Lord are automatically, they are various leelas are happening in other parts of the world, and his glory is continuously increasing. Even Anantadev is not able to understand the glories of the Lord. So who are we to understand the glories of the Lord? But the more we chant Hare Krishna, the more we know that we cannot understand the glories of the Lord. The more we understand how insignificant we are, the more we understand how it is in my interest that I want to serve the Lord, in my interest that I want to serve Guru and Gauranga. The Lord is served eternally by millions of Lakshmis. Lakshmi Sahasradasa Sambrahma Sedyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamam Bhajami. The Lord is not in need of servitors. We are in need for service opportunities so that we can purify ourselves and go back to Godhead, to be eternally in the service of Guru and Gauranga. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, we'll do quickly do a 2 minutes Harinam Sankirtan. Devotees can switch on your cameras. Then we'll see who are all there, who have joined us for our Bhagavad Gita session today. And then if anyone has any queries or want to share any realizations, you may do that, and then we'll end. Probably 1:55, in 5 minutes we'll end. Nama Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvitesha Shunavadi Paschatyaadishadarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama, Jaya Sudarshana, Jaya Bala Gopal. जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह, जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह, जय राधा माधव राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा रस बिहारी राधे, जय राधे जय राधे, जय राधे जय श्री राधे, जय सद्गुस्वामी, जय गुरु परंपरा, जय प्रभुपादा, जय गुरुदेवा निताय गौर हरि बोल, गौर हरि बोल, गौर हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। कलियुग पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। कलियुग पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। सामेत भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। सो वी आर सीइंग कर्पवल्ली माता जी, श्रीधर प्रभु, हरजीत माता जी, रोहिणी माता जी, मणिमाला माता जी, स्नेह प्रभा माता जी, विजयलक्ष्मी प्रिया माता जी, लीलनंदिनी माता जी, वृषभानु कन्या माता जी, अंजना माता जी, राजनीश प्रभु, सुधा माता जी, शोभा माता जी, अनुषा माता जी, all our regular devotees, thank you all so much for joining us every day. In this way, you are giving us opportunities to hear about Krishna, to speak about Krishna, and to remember Krishna, for which I am very, very grateful to all of you. Thank you very much. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. Okay, no hands up. I believe everybody is there's no one who wants to share any realizations or ask any doubts. We are already on 1:55. So on this note, let us end our session for today. Meet you all tomorrow morning 5 a.m. for Brahma Muhurta chanting session, and then we meet at 12:30. Tomorrow is Friday. Yeah, we meet at 12:30 to continue our discussion on the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much.